yes, it's once again Friday night on the bus, and of course, folks, you know what that means. It's time to get that Friday feeling. It's a big one this week. It's huge. It's the first piece of silverware for the season. In case you've been living under a rock, it is League Cup final this Sunday. Celtic against Rangers. A cup final in December. Game's gone. But yes, we'll be looking ahead to that. It's a Glasgow Derby final. And it's a few weeks ago, I think if you'd asked many fans how you think this is going to go, I think many Celtic fans would be canter. But the dynamic, I can sense a mood shift. That doesn't necessarily mean that I think that. But anyway, we'll be talking about it tonight and getting the vibe ahead of it, how we think it's going to go, talking about predicted lineups and whatnot, and all the usual fun and frolics that come on a Friday night, folks. So, as you can see, tonight's Friday night team that's joining me, I've got Johnny Logue. Johnny, you're not anywhere exotic tonight, are you?
No, I'm just an old stinking Lincoln, I'm just at home on the part-time week, having a nice couple of 10 days off work. So, But then again, they have got me going away on Christmas Day, and even worse than that, they've got me on airport standby New Year's Day. So it's that's a bit brutal, but hey ho. But hopefully I'll be somewhere where I can see that, because it's the 2nd of January we play them in the league, isn't it?
We do indeed, yes.
Hopefully I'll be sitting somewhere where I can watch the game on that one. But yeah, so I'm enjoying 10 days off at the minute.
Exactly. Just enjoy the downtime when you get it, because when the work comes back around again, it'll be 100 miles per hour, so you may as well enjoy it now. And of course, it is Friday night on the bus, so of course, heritage and tradition and all that. So of course, I'm joined by the wise man, Canada's favourite Tim, the beard of knowledge, is Liam Greenlaw. How you doing, Liam?
I'm doing great, man. You know, it's Friday the 13th today, and I've got that feeling, not a Friday feeling, different feeling, that they think they're back. That just when you thought they're dead, the finger twitched, they sort of got back up. They're all right slashing, they're ready to kill. Just have to go through it again, you know. Jason Voorhees, right, just lives across the street. Can't wait to see him on Sunday.
What is it they always say at this time? They've got the battle fever, Liam. They've got their battle fever on.
Fever.
Yeah,
that's rabies, mate. That's rabies.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, they are full of their usual exuberance. So yeah, we'll see how that works out for them. But yeah, but first and foremost, before we get to talking about the cup final and all the other fun and frolics of Friday night, of course you can do all that good stuff, folks. Help us out massively on the bus. Hit that like button. Helps us out with the old algorithm. CSC allows the bus to get recommended in more people's inboxes on YouTube. If they like Celtic podcasts and they've not discovered the Boise Bus yet, then the more interactions the channel gets, the better chance we've got of spreading the word. You can, of course, spread the word on social media anyway. Twitter, Facebook, Blue Sky, whatever that is, TikTok, Instagram, all these other things. You know the drill. I'm getting too old for that stuff. What else have we got? Of course, you can get involved in our comment section. Let's see who's in on a Friday night. We've got Graham Tyrrell. He is in. Jim Doan is in, Michelle Reid, Smell the Glove, Alan Robertson, Jim C is in, Stephen Murdoch is in, and yes, I say I always use it on Friday night, but it's all killer, no filler. We've got all the hits are in tonight, and of course you can subscribe if you haven't done so yet. If you're a new viewer and just stumbled across the bus, and hit the subscribe button. Costs you nothing. Keeps us in your life that wee bit longer. And of course, you can head over to piesports.com and you can still use that code bus 1888 and you can get your tasty pastry treats 12.5% off ahead of the cup final. You know, treat yourself to a macaroni pie or whatever sort of pie they've got going on. And other than that, of course, last week I brought back some trivia to start the show. Because I used to do that on a Friday night with Bustalgia. I'll have a wee trivia question, we'll come back to answers at the end. So, of course, because this is a trend nowadays let's jump on that train. Let's get on that trend. So, obviously, it's guess the player by their career. So, I've got a graphic prepared as a former Celtic player. Last week's one was Gary Caldwell. I felt it was quite an easy one to start on. This might be an easy one. It might be right away. Some people get it. If you know the answer, though, Johnny and Liam, don't shout it out yet. We'll obviously come back to it at the end, as well as we'll play Sudden Death at the end of the show tonight as well. So all sorts of quizzes going on. But tonight's hidden player behind the Boise Bus badge, this is them. They've got a very small career. They've only played for 4 teams. Celtic, Newcastle, St Mirren and Aberdeen is the playing career of said player who's hidden behind the Boise Bus badge. So yeah, as if you know it, Liam and Johnny. I imagine you as well. Won't shout it out yet. We'll obviously come back to it at the end of the show. But yes, that is tonight's hidden player. And yes, we will on that later on. Okay, so as I said at the top of the show, if you lived under a rock, it is Cup final weekend. It is the League Cup final, Premier Sports Cup, Coca-Cola Cup, whatever. It's had a multitude of sponsors over the years. And yeah, let's get talking about that then. So, Celtic Rangers. As I said there as well at the top of the show, Johnny, a few weeks ago, obviously many Celtic fans would obviously be like 5-0, 4-0, whatever, some sort of high score. But even in the worst form, these games never ever pan out that way. The last two times we played Rangers in cup finals was obviously the one in May. We beat them 1-0, where arguably, I mean, the first half, if I remember correctly, it was a bit of a non-event. It was a bit of a drab final for a showpiece final. Second half, Rangers, turned the screw a wee bit. They probably had this pinned in for a wee while. They obviously scored a goal that got disallowed. Joe Hart, fair play to him. He was not letting that bone go. He chased the referee all over the park till they reversed it. Fair play to him. Obviously, we scored a late one and we won it. And I think the last time we played them in a cup final before that was the very, very, very infamous Christopher Julian winner, where we were pinned in for about 89 minutes out of the 90, and we got one chance again. Christopher Julian scored. We obviously won both games 1-0, but yeah, they very seldom turn out, as bad as form as they might be in or whatnot. You don't usually see 4 or 5-0. I'm expecting it's going to be a cagey affair, as cup finals always are, Johnny.
Yeah, like you said, Phil, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I think I said to you before we came on live that if they'd offered me the chance to play them the night after we beat Leipzig, I'd have snapped your hand off, and I'd have been quite happy at that time to put my house, both cars, on the bet that we were going to win that game easy. Now I think I don't think I'd risk a fiver on Sky Bet at the minute. I think it's going to be a tight one on Sunday. I think it's going to be quite a nervy one. Like you said, I think we've had a few cup finals lately where they've not gone the way we would have expected. We may have won them, but we didn't win them in the style or the manner we expected. I think we've had a few games of that of late. Maybe apart obviously the 3-0 one at the start of the season. I think it's going to be a tough and a cagey game on Sunday. It's going to be really tight, and I'm not as confident as I was 4 weeks ago that we were going to stroll this. 4 weeks ago, we were going to stroll this, no problem. Now, I'm not saying this because Rangers have come back to life, as you said earlier on there, Liam, but I just think it's going to be a tough game, and it's going to be a tough watch, I think. Since we played Leipzig, I think most of our games have been tough watches, to be fair. The ones that I've seen, I've not seen them all. But when you've got Kasper Schmeichel as the man of the match in a 3-0 home win against the bottom of the league, Hibs, at the weekend, and that tells you something that there's something not quite right there, is there? That game could have ended up 3 each, 4-3 to Hibs or whatever, so we need to click into gear again on Sunday. It needs to be done quick.
Yeah.
I still think we'll win, but it's not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be feet up on the coffee table with a beer, just casually watching the game as we stroll to a cup final victory. It's going to be all the way.
It has been a bit weird because the last away games in particular, last 3 or 4, it's felt like first half has been a bit underwhelming. The other teams kind of took the game to us, but hasn't been able to put the ball in the net. Second half, we usually find a winner, or like the Hearts game, we just went to town on them in the second half. It's just one of these types of things where say the first half they're coming off wondering how they're no ahead, but they don't put us to bed and we end up taking charge. But yeah, the Hibs game last week, if Hibs had a competent striker up front, then it could have been different. By Kasper Schmeichel, fair play, there were some blinding saves he pulled off. And those one-on-one chances. One of the concerns that I took from the Hibs game last week was how easy Hibs were just knocking big long balls up the park and just leaving us flat-footed. But I think against Rangers you won't see that, because against Hibs at home, there was a few points in the game last week where all of our players, every one of our outfield players were in Hibs half. We were literally playing all of our football in the opposition half, because we were, even Scales and Carter Vickers were that far forward. It was like, we'll just pass it around. We don't even need boys. So I think that's the reason why against Rangers I can't see us being that bold, pushing that far up. That'd be a bit mad to do that. So I think Hibs obviously tried to utilise that last week, but yeah, they obviously the number 9 up front, or number 99, I think he was wearing. Yeah, he just faltered in front of goals a few times. But I don't think we'll find ourselves in a scenario like that. But I understand your concerns, Johnny. There has been a few games recently where we've just been a wee bit underwhelming, and even through the week there. I mean, we controlled the game without making any real great chances. I never felt in any great danger against Zagreb through the week, and ultimately the point still puts us in a good position. But I still came away going, could have been better. At the end, you can't really, stick your nose up at a point in the Champions League away from home, given our record over the years. But yeah, it's still a wee bit frustrating because we definitely had a few more gears to go up. But hopefully, Liam, we're saving those gears for this Sunday. And the comment at the bottom here, Stephen Murdoch, a bit similar to what you were saying earlier on, Liam. They'll fancy their chances now exactly where we want them. Is this exactly where we want them? When they've got that confidence, that bravado about them? Is this the calm before the storm? They think that this is it. They're back now, and then they're going to get a big reality check on Sunday.
Well, I think they've got more to lose and more to win, sort of at the same time. Because you see, if we do beat them on Sunday and it's convincing, they're crushed. That just means there's nothing that they can do can lay a glove on us. Nothing. If we go in and then we give them that sense of hope, if we pay them too much respect, if we try to adapt to their game rather than playing our game, all those things are going to give them confidence. They've already got home advantage, and they've also got the referee advantage as well, right? So beating at Ibrox is a lot different. Oh no, it's at Hampden, sorry, but
it may as well be with that refereeing team.
Still, like beating's different when he's at Celtic Park and other places with a crowd will get on him, but he's a lot different at Ibrox, and Hampden, when he's got half the support behind him there. So, I say sometimes it makes a factor. I think the fact is, though, I think the longer it goes, the more nerves will be on them to win it. The more it will show up for them to make a mistake. I'm really hoping that we don't give them any respect whatsoever. I think we do it by going out there to not be cagey, not to feel them out, but come out flying. And if we can get that first goal, like we've done a number of times, so like the Daisen Maeda goal, where he intercepted that pass at the beginning of in the middle of the field and just raced past Tavernier and destroying him. I think the more significant things that we can do early to make an impact on the game, the quicker we'll be able to get dominance. And for me, for us, it's just we are a better team. But if it turns into a slugfest and it's dragging through the middle and we're passing it back and forward and we're giving them too much respect and not wanting to attack them, they'll hit us on the break because we do have frailties at the back. And that's what all our fans have acknowledged. And that's what gives us the uncomfortableness, Phil, is we know right now that we are vulnerable in a couple of key areas. Both our fullbacks, we could be starting with Ralston and Taylor. That's not good enough. Callum McGregor's not been having a great last couple of games as well. So we know his vulnerabilities within our defensive thing as well. So that I want to make sure that all our focus is on our attack, that we are doing it and get some shots on the fucking net for a change. That was done locally the other night.
Did Brendan not say that Johnson's all right for the game?
Johnson should be okay. I think there's a few people in the chat saying is CCV injured for it. I hope not. God, I hope no.
Not heard that one.
Yeah, because CCV's played a lot of games recently, hasn't he? And there's also a lot of talk in the last few weeks about using him carefully with his injury record right now. We can't be having him playing so many games in close succession, but I hope not. There's just a few people in the chat been bringing that up, so hopefully that's just some rumour doing the rounds. I think somebody even said it was some mischief from certain newspaper articles or certain journalists, perhaps. So yeah, hopefully that's not the case because we're going to need everybody fighting fit. And of course, one person there, Liam, that you highlighted, and as much as we do have a laugh at his expense, and there's many things that we say that are very, very true about Tavernier. And obviously you're talking about Maeda, giving him the runaround and haunting him and whatnot. As bad as he can be defensively, and he's definitely got a lot of frailties mentally as their captain, I broke a tradition last night. I actually watched the Rangers game. I don't tend to watch them, but I watched them play Spurs last night. And one thing that still remains true, Johnny, for me with Tavernier, regardless of how bad he may be defensively, he still puts a very good ball into the box. And my mentality always is just stop him from getting up the wing, because a massive part of Rangers' game is just sticking balls in the box coming from Tavernier. Now, of course, we don't tend games in recent times against Rangers, we haven't lost many goals through that means because of the shift that Dyson Maeda puts in and keeps them quiet. But yeah, last night, I mean, the goal that he set up for them, that Igamani, is it scored? Igaman, whatever. It was a great cross, fair play. It was right where the striker wants it. Didn't have to break his stride, ran on, finished it. But he does, as bad as he can be defensively, I say mentally, he's not, the strongest captain, but he does deliver a good cross. So again, it's just a case that I think if you can shut him down, that takes a massive part of their game away from them, Johnny.
Oh yeah, and Maeda will do that just by being on the park, because Tab will be terrified to come forward as much as he used to like to, and does like to get these in the positions to put them balls in. I mean, even when he's in front of Maeda, he still doesn't know where he is, and Maeda still nips in front of him and scores goals. So I think that threat will be nullified just naturally by Maeda being on the park. So I think we'll cope with that. No problem. Maeda will be taking up his usual residence in Tavernier's head.
Yep.
And he won't know what way he's up, to be honest with you. I don't think so. I think he'll be too interested in trying not to get made a mug of by Maeda at the back to worry too much about coming forward. So I think that will take care of that, to be fair.
Well, the thing is that their fans are, as we see on the bus, acutely aware of Tavernier's problems against Maeda, and all it's going to take is that first moment where Maeda gets in behind him, because right away the 25,000 Rangers fans said they were going to get right on Tavernier and give him all sorts of grief if he allows Maeda to get in there early on, gets a cross in, completely unopposed, whatever. That's all it's going to take. I mean, one of the classics that we see, it feels like the last, 6 or 7 games against Rangers, there's always at least one moment in time in the game when you get this close-up of Tavernier and he looks like a deer in the headlights, big wide eyes, because he's just absolutely spooked because Maeda's ran him ragged. Look at some of the goals as well that, Maeda's been responsible for. At Ibrox, the one last season, 20 seconds into the game, Tavernier, it's a big long ball from Joe Hart, and Tav, as he's running and chasing the ball down, he's looking over his left shoulder, over his right shoulder. He doesn't know what side Maeda's on. He takes a gamble to just punt it away to his left-hand side, and that happens to be the side that Maeda's standing on, bounces off him and zips past Butland into the net. And then there was the one a couple of seasons ago when Morelos passed it right to Maeda in the centre circle. He does Goldson, and then he goes right by Tavernier and just leaves him in the dust. And it's like, God, he just brings so much chaos, and we're going to need that again, because this is a fixture that I think Maeda, we see the best of him. He really rises to the occasion. Of course, he scored in the last game against them at Celtic Park, so it's a game that he's really, really come into his own. And yeah, that's going to be a crucial one. And say people in the chat also say that just stop, just nullify him with Maeda. Just stop Tavernier getting forward, because I say it's a massive. He's a massive threat for them, regardless of how poor he is defensively and mentally. But yeah, we have to still respect that he can deliver a half decent ball into the box.
What we should do on Saturday is, if we win the toss and take the centres, we should just, a bit like the one was Edward in the Lennon days when we just punt. We should just punt the ball to Tav and have Maeda on him within 10 seconds and just see how he reacts to it and scare the life out of him in the first 10 seconds, and that'll be that sorted. That was wild, that. I remember. The funny thing was, Hearts did that to us like 2 weeks before. We played Hearts at Celtic Park, and Craig Levine got Hearts to do that. And at the time, I was like, what was that? And then we did it a couple of weeks later, but then it all started to make sense. We wanted to just press Rangers right off the start in that game, and you never know. I don't know if Brendan would do something like that, but hey, it worked. It actually worked that day. We were right on top of them from the very start, and I can see the logic in that, because yeah, he does 100% get spooked, by Dyson Maeda. So hopefully that's the case. But Liam, it seems like they've got a new hero up front. Igamani
seems like Dessers, well, to be fair, Dessers was unlucky, though, he scored a goal last night. What a save for Fraser Foster. But yeah, this boy seems to be scoring a lot. I mean, granted, 5 or 6 weeks ago, I hadn't even heard of the guy. Now I just keep seeing his name coming up as a goal scorer. I'm like, who's this? Who is this guy? Don't know at all. But and again, you know, Brendan, obviously, from his point of view, he's going to be, he'll be more than aware of this boy being a threat. And again, it's just Carter Vickers, and I'd say it's probably going to be Trusty are going to be the centre-back pairing tomorrow. I'd think that'd probably be unless Carter Vickers is injured, which hopefully he's not, because I know people have been saying in the chat. Hopefully that's not the case. But I would say if they two are fit, I would say it's Carter Vickers and Trusty. And again, just try to keep this boy quiet, because he seems to be in a real purple patch at the moment, Liam.
I think that's going to be up to Trusty. I think, you know, I think CCV's there to just calm all the stuff in and around the box. But I think as far as running with him and all that, it's going to have to be Trusty. You know, I worry about that left side. You know, I'm going to bring it up, right? Left back. I think we're going to have problems at that point. That's what I worry about Maeda getting pulled back into that position to Mark Tavernier from there, rather than our left back having to do it. When he takes those long, hyper diagonal, immersive runs, whatever you want to call them, he's not been great at getting back lately. He just seems to stay there, and you're watching Tati and Maeda coming back to mark that man. Now, I watched that Cerny the other night, and that Cerny, he's an intelligent football player. You can tell whether, you know, you like him or not, but he's, you know, he played against us with, I think it was Slovakia or Czech Republic, wherever one he's from. He looked a tidy player, remembered him, and he's always looked good with them. And I think that's where we have to watch, is getting that side overloaded with players when we try to do that Greg Taylor immersive run that does fuck all, you know, into the middle of the park. So I just think we got to watch that.
Liam, do you think it will be Taylor that will start? Do you think he might throw a Value wild card in there? Nah.
Honestly, no, I can't see it now. I can't see it, or otherwise he would have done it. I mean, or at least not give him the full 90 minutes every game. I mean, I don't know. It's a one blind spot, I really think, Rodgers. And I get, it just crushes you as a supporter and all that well too, where he just seems to have given up looking for a solution to that. I would have loved to have seen us try to mould Hatate into that role. If that's the role that Brendan wants to play, where we feel that we can have our left back moving into the inside to overlap everybody, and then sort of play that Luka Modric type role, you're needing a much better player than Greg Taylor to do that. And it's obvious. So the idea, I think, of what Rodgers has there, but the player he's got trying to implement it is so far out of his league that he gets into the middle of the park, looks up his head, and he's standing beside Callum McGregor, now making the same pass back that he would throw his arms up in the air if Callum McGregor was to make it. So I think we need to sort that part out. That's the one part where I worry about the defence. I don't think we're going to have problems in the middle of the park. I think the middle of the park is going to have problems with the outside, and that's going to pull them out of position. And I think that's where we're vulnerable. So for me, I think it's attack. You know, if we win 10-6, I'm happy. You know? Hey,
if we win 10-6, God, I don't know if I can handle
7-6, Liam.
Yeah, any victory will do, but that would be a slobber knocker, to say the least.
Right.
Also, when you mentioned Hatate at fullback, am I right in saying, did I imagine this when you played out in Japan? Did he not play at fullback at some point?
Right.
And he did play as a fullback in a game for us, and he scored twice that day. I can remember that. He played at right back against St. Johnston on like Boxing Day or Christmas Eve, because it was we were wearing our away shirt at home. There was like a charity thing going on that weekend where all the teams are wearing their away kits, even if they were at home. And yeah, I can remember us scoring we beat them 4-2, I think, and he scored 2 from right back that day. Yeah. Unbelievable. But I'm pretty sure, when he came over here, there was talk about he was a good utility player because he could play fullback and he could play in the middle of the park, and it was like, all right, okay. But yeah, other than that one fleeting moment against St. Johnston where he scored twice, he's never ever been implemented there. But yeah, I'd expect it to be Greg Taylor as well. I think it will be. I do like Value. I've liked what I've seen from him so far, but at the moment I think it's with Greg Taylor. And there is a couple of Points coming in. I think it was Graham Martin had said that Taylor's best games have been against them. Yeah, he has had a few good performances, in fairness. He has had them. And of course, there is the very infamous moment where he told Morelos exactly what he thought of him when he was down on the ground getting treatment. But yeah, he has put in shifts before against them. But yeah, again, this would be a cup final and being that danger of it's a one-off game. Anything can happen. There has to be a winner on the day. Everyone's just going to have to be absolutely at it from the off. There's no place for passengers on Sunday when this game comes around. But in the middle of the park, Johnny, this is obviously a real contentious area, obviously. So Luke McCown is obviously cup-tied. Boo. We're sad about that because he's been excellent for us. So yeah, he cannot make any appearances. Hatate has been wild this season, up and down, like a roller coaster at times. I thought he was great against RB Leipzig a few weeks back. In fact, everybody was great against Leipzig. We were phenomenal. But yeah, some of the performances he's put in recently have been all over the place. Engels, again, started really well, has been a bit up and down as well. Cal McGregor's going to start. As Liam said earlier on, though, McGregor's been far from perfect as well, particularly in European games. McGregor's been a bit slow and ponderous on the ball and been caught out at times. I still think, to a man, if you compare our midfield to their midfield, I still think we have got the better, options there, the better midfielders. But for me, I think a definite for Sunday has to be Paulo Bernardo. Whether it's Hatate or Engels that drop out, Johnny, Bernardo has to be in that team. McGregor's obviously going to start. He's a captain. Of course, he's going to start. But Bernardo has to take one of those shots. Whether it's Hatate or Engels, whoever gets dropped or starts, that'll be up to Brendan to decide. But for me, Bernardo has to be in there. I think with his physical presence and he's quite a calm player on the ball, he's very good at doing the simple things. I've used the comparison before, a bit like how Joe Ledley used to play. Maybe he's not as much of an attacking threat, but what I like about Bernardo is, much like Joe Ledley, he was that midfielder who just went about his job. At times where you didn't even notice him in the game, but that didn't mean he was having a bad game. It just meant he didn't draw attention to himself. At a time, I can remember a time when Ledley played for us and we had Wanyama, Kayal, Brown, Ki Sung Young, and Ledley were all our central midfield options. But yeah, Ledley I always felt was that guy. He's just a pure workhorse in the middle of the park. He didn't do too much to draw attention to himself at times, but yeah, I think Bernardo's got a very similar sort of characteristics to that. So I think he would be ideal playing in there on Sunday. And plus, his previous appearances against Rangers, he's always played well. The last game at Celtic Park, he was fantastic that day. So, of course, Engels had signed like a couple of days before, and everyone thought, well, as Bernardo might not even start. But he started that day, and he was excellent. I remember him hassling Rangers, taking the ball off them, winning it, not giving them much time. So, yeah, for me, I think Bernardo, he's a good physical presence in there. He can help out McGregor. In fairness, though, I've been quite surprised that when Bernardo has played, he has not been, Johnny, the sort of deepest lying midfielder. To me, he ticks all the boxes of being the defensive midfielder, the number 6, as they like to say nowadays. Instead of McGregor being that, I think McGregor would be better utilised being a little bit further forward and being more, box-to-box type midfielder. But it seems like Bernardo gets to play a bit further in front of him. But for me, I think Bernardo, Johnny, the point I'm making is he should be in that starting 11.
Yeah, I think as far as the midfield goes, the stick-ons, for me anyway, as you've just said, McGregor and Bernardo. All the things that you said there about Bernardo are right, but he's also a goal threat. He is capable of scoring a goal and creating big moments in the games against Rangers. For example, in the cup final last year, he created the goal from the shot that got parried back out to Ida, who obviously scored. So McGregor and Bernardo, the stick-ons. The one I'm trying to make my mind up, which way will he go? Hatate or Engels? That's the one that I don't know which way Brendan will go. Hatate, he's one of these guys who can conjure up something brilliant and change a game just like that. But it can also be, like I say, performance on Tuesday night, for example, where I don't think he couldn't have found Celtic Park with a sat-nav on Tuesday night. It was awful. It was just ridiculously bad. Engels, yeah, and I know Russell's obviously giving me Sunday name there, but I know Russell's, says, Engels is probably getting more criticism than is deserved. But there's no getting away. He's not been what we were hoping for so far. I've got no doubt there's a player in there. He's got the ability, but he's just not clicked into place quite yet. Yeah, that could be right. Hatate's heart's maybe not in it anymore. I think he could go in January, to be fair. But I think he will probably. I don't know whether he'll go for Hatate for his magic moments, as Mark says. He's a bit like my favourite Rogic, a moments man rather than a grab a game by the scruff of the neck and completely turn on its head sort of guy. But I love Tom Rogic. Hatate's a bit more like that. The goal he scored against Aberdeen, for example, the through ball from Taylor, his control and shot into the back of the net before anybody's moved.
Yep.
So will he go for? Will Brendan go for the man who could conjure up a moment of absolute sublime, ridiculous magic, or Engels to try and get him nursed through and get him up to the speed? But as you've said earlier on, we ain't got room for a passenger on Sunday. It's got to be every man's going to be bang on the button. So at the minute, definitely McGregor and Bernardo. I don't know who he's going to go with for the other one. I'll put down Hatate on my list as well. I think he might go, but
I think it's the hardest jersey to predict right now. At the starting 11, that one really is up for grabs. But Liam, on Tuesday, I wish Tuesday night was PMP. Me, Terry, and Russell did it because of Russell's ongoing internet problems. I had to be on there just in case it went to pot for him. But he brought up, we discussed this position, and Russell was of the opinion that keep Hatate for the bench because he could benefit from coming on against a tired Rangers defence at that point. And obviously last night, John Souttar went off there. For some reason, somewhere in this timeline, this odd timeline that we're living in, John Souttar for some reason has been elevated to be the new Virgil van Dijk. I don't know where this has happened and where this has came from, but apparently now that they're hyping him up to be something special. He went off injured last night, Liam, so it's looking like it's going to be Proper and probably Balogun playing as our centre-backs, I would guess. So, you're talking Balogun's, 36, and that Proper, he fell flat on his face in the last game when we cut one back from the byline. I think it was for Maeda's goal. I'm pretty sure, he looked like a cart horse at times. So a guy like Hatate coming on, if we've ran that defence ragged, that's the type of scenario you're hoping that he will produce that magic moment if that's the case, Liam, if he does come off the bench.
I think that's a good shout at getting him off the bench as well, because they too will. Kyogo's going to be running him, Maeda's going to be running him, Kuhn, to have someone else come up in the middle of the field. Bernardo's got mobility as well, so they could be getting dragged all over the place tomorrow. Sunday. So, yeah, we have to look at seeing, is this like, it's all about dominating them with our pace and our speed, especially if they're propped up. And again, even if Souttar was there, he's not the most mobile guy as well. Souttar's like their equivalent of a Tony Ralston right now that's just having good form, like Fernandes' season. So yeah, I don't know whether they get that fit, and I think the two of them that are coming in, they're going to be more vulnerable through the middle. That's why I think we have to get the middle of our park right. Yeah. I know maybe Hatate for the start. If it might be you put him on, and then if he's terrible, you hook him at half time. He'd be ruthless, just like Ange was the other night with his player. If you're not cutting it right away, bang, you're getting chances and you're wasting them. Maybe the kick up the arse he needs.
No, definitely. That's the most problematic position right now. That one midfield spot is the one that's really tough. NM says we just need to stop being so sloppy in the final third. Yes, definitely. Passing has to be better. Indeed, convert more chances we make. Well, after Tuesday, just to make some chances would be nice. Do that and we'll pump them. It's the real thing is, we've been here before, Johnny, especially with Brendan Rodgers in charge, where we might have a bit of rocky form going into a fixture against them, but it just feels like Brendan just loves this game. His record speaks for itself. mean, the one that stands out to me is the start of last season where we were apparently in crisis. I mean, we were almost at the point the Daily Record or the Sunday Mail would be printing the Celtic badge with a big crack down the crest, you know. We went to Ibrox, first game, the first meeting that season, 5 games in. I think we drew with St Johnstone, knocked out the League Cup by Kilmarnock. It was all written in the stars that Rangers were going to turn us over, and then we beat them 1-0, and it was a relatively comfortable 1-0. They had their goal chopped off, but then after we took the lead, they just seemed to run out of ideas. And again, it was just a Brendan Rodgers masterclass. So I think he relishes these things. So I always, even in the forum that we're going, I just feel like when he's the manager, I just feel like we just rise to the occasion. He rises to the occasion. So regardless of some of the performances recently being sloppy in the final third, to me it just feels like these are the games where it just clicks. It's like we save our best for these guys in particular.
Oh, definitely, and that's what we need to do. We need to have something to go against Rangers right early doors, because there's a bit of a history with them that even if things are looking all right for them in a game, as soon as something goes wrong, they collapse. Last year, when was it when we had in the 3-0 game at the start of the season, when we had the first goal chalked off for offside, and Rangers were playing quite well. They had a good 10 minutes, and we had a goal chalked offside, which should have been a boost for them. They collapsed after that, and then there was that one you were just talking about there. When they just collapse. As soon as something goes against them, so we need something to go against them tomorrow. Sunday. And force it to go against them before they get into any sort of rhythm. We don't want to let them get into rhythm. Get straight at their throats on Sunday afternoon and force things to go wrong for them and force them to collapse. Take away any foundation they've got. Kick it from underneath their feet, right early doors, and get the job done.
Yeah.
That's the way we want it to go.
100%. And one man I think can help us get there. This is the Kyogo final. Every time Kyogo plays in the League Cup final, he scores. He scored 2 against Hibs in 2021. In fact, I mentioned earlier on talk about games against Rangers Cup finals. We actually beat them under Ange, but again, it was only a 1 goal in it. It was 2-1 in the end, so it was like we don't tend to beat them by big margins when we do get victories over them in cup finals, which again just proves how cagey they can be. But yeah, Kyogo so far in League Cup finals, he's played 2 and he's scored 4 goals. We've won both of those games 2-1. So yeah, this is his final and his occasion, and he loves a game against Rangers. For the 5 or 6 games that he went without scoring against them, obviously I think it was in the calendar year of 2023, he scored 7 goals in 5 games against them. So he loves a goal against them. And remember at the start of the season as well, Liam, Kyogo had a bit of a rocky start, and then he just literally passed the ball into the net from 30 yards out. One of these, I can't believe he's shooting from there. What's he even doing? And I've seen what he did. It's up there. Honestly, see, at the end of the season, we'll talk about goal of the season. That one might be easily forgotten, but the technique to do that was insane. So it's just I think Terry's called him this before, says he's ruthless, he's a killer in this fixture. In Butland, we talk about Maeda, living rent-free in Tavernier's Head. I think Kyogo lives a bit rent-free in Jack Butland's head. For all the hype and all the brouhaha about Jack Butland, what a sensation he is, and he could still get an England squad and whatnot, which he can't. Let's be honest here. Kyogo seems to catch him out quite a lot. The one at Ibrox last season, we had it on the half volley from outside the box. Butland didn't see that coming. The one we beat them at the New Year 2-1, when he just unleashes it with his left foot right in the top corner. And see that one earlier this season, where again you're just not expecting him to do that from 30 yards out, literally pass it along the ground into the net. So Sunday is surely a day for Kyogo to shine as he does in League Cup finals.
I think they two, Tavernier and Butland, have been traumatised. I'm sure they're probably in the same support group in Glasgow for, having been chased by little Japanese men running about that can't get out their head, everywhere they look, the taxi driver, the chippy, everybody's, oh my God, just seeing them everywhere, because that's what it must be like. When Kyogo hit that 35-yarder, he did everything but point to the corner while doing it. It was that gallus a shot. Better was his description of the goal afterwards. When Well, man of the match, and it says, "See goal, big goal, shoot, happy."
Yeah, that was quality, that was, wasn't it?
So these games are built for him, and they two big clanksos in the centre backs right there that they're going to play against him on Sunday. They're built to play against Kyogo in the sense that Kyogo's going to turn them inside out. That's what I think. If we can get the ball to Kyogo, if we can feed him, if we can get that ball so that, you know, we're pulling him in and give him a chance to run at it for the halfway line, that's where they're going to have all sorts of problems. If we can start and break at that point, which means getting that ball up through the middle rather than going up through the wings and down the sides, start looking for that ball through the middle that Kyogo can run on, and I think our speed is going to terrorise him at that point. You know, they Ange ball the other night. What we are playing now, when it clicks, is so much better than Ange ball because it's got it's got a much better end product, I think. And when it clicks, it really, really clicks. And it clicks when the balls are coming up through the middle, and we're using Kyogo's pace and his ability to get in behind players. And that also makes the other players on the wings far more dangerous as well, just because all the activity is going up there. And it'll crush him because, again, I don't want us sitting back. I think we'd be attacking him all the time. So this is Kyogo's game. This is his cup, you know.
Yeah, he's got a great record. So I remember James Forrest went a few cup finals in a row where he kept scoring. In the League Cup final, he scored against Dundee United, against Aberdeen, and against Motherwell. So it was like 3 League Cup finals in the Bhoys. James Forrest made it his own. But yeah, Kyogo so far, his record at Hampden in the League Cup finals is 2 goals against Hibs and 2 goals against Rangers. And had we got to the final last year and didn't bottle it against Kilmarnock in the first round, essentially, who knows what could have happened if we'd got all the way through to the final there. But yeah, Johnny, there's a subplot to this final, depending on who you ask and what you believe. But obviously, our neighbours across the city have been shouting from the rooftops for many years, world's most successful club, and talking about totals of trophies and tallying it up and bragging about this, even though statistically they're not. There's a team in Egypt apparently that's won a lot more trophies than them called Al Ahly, which I think we've said many times. Many people with Celtic persuasion have said, well, actually, you're not the most successful team in the world. This team is. And I mean, if you look at a team like Real Madrid, for example, who've won 14 European Cups / Champions Leagues, I doubt very much a Real Madrid fan is losing any sleep at Rangers' claims to be the world's most successful club. But obviously, they have decorated their stadium with all sorts of stuff of saying world's most successful club. Will they be getting the emulsion out on Sunday evening? Because as it stands right now, again, depending on who you ask, 118 trophies to 118. So this is the biggest League Cup final in a long time, apparently. So if we win it, but I did like Johnny today that when Brendan Rodgers was asked about that, he just basically, words to the effect of, we just look to win as many trophies. We don't need to tell anybody how many we've won. We just look to win it. And it kind of adds to the adage of the most important trophy is always the next one, Johnny. And that's the best mentality to have, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, I think I put it in our group chat earlier on. Just before that, good to see you as well, Monty. And are you still getting the 59 bus over to Edinburgh? I used to drive the 59 bus. I maybe had Monty on my bus before we started doing this, and I don't know. But getting back to the non-trophy of the world's most successful club, I don't think, as you said, I don't think Real Madrid are overly concerned that they don't have a racing bike in their trophy room. And as I said in our group chat today, until this started becoming a thing 2 or 3 years ago when they were desperately clutching at straws for some kind of credit, I don't know what the word would be, some history to grab onto. I couldn't even have told you how many trophies Celtic have won.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many Scottish Cups we've won. I couldn't tell you how many League Cups we've won. I can tell you how many European Cups we've won.
Yep.
I know we've won the Driver Cup. I know in 1967 we won every trophy we entered. We won 5 trophies in that season, but I couldn't have told you the total. And until this came about, I couldn't have told you how many leagues we'd won, because I think if we win the league this year, then that takes us to
55.
That takes us, we match the 55. So next year we'll reach the magical 56. You know, the holy grail of 56. And it's a complete and utter non-story, non-event of real no interest to anybody except them, except Rangers, clinging on to some non-existent honour. Because as you've said, I mean, like, so we think we're a successful club. We compare ourselves to Liverpool. 5 European trophies. Five Champions Leagues, so European Cups. Real Madrid, 14 or 15, whatever it is. You know, we pale in insignificance in that regard when we talk about the likes of Real Madrid and what they've done. You know, it's not the amount of trophies. It's not the amount. It's the quality. What have you actually won? You know.
Yeah. The funny bit is this is rules that they set. They decided somewhere that they are the benchmark. So then it's like, so wait a minute. If we pass your trophy haul, which you claim is the benchmark, does that mean that you guys have to acknowledge us as the world's most successful club? Well, they set the rules. They made this accolade up. So we might be in that position come Sunday night, but I think come the end of the season we definitely will. I think we're on course to win at least 2 trophies this season. So I think we could be looking at. But I say that's just a bit of fun. Hopefully the first one comes on Sunday evening. Now, before we do the predictions, the ill-fated predictions, let's play a game of sudden death, because Johnny, you were on a couple of weeks ago and you were disappointed we didn't do sudden death. So I guess we'll play. You're the first person that's genuinely been like, I wanted to play a game of sudden death. Really? This is why a lot of people in the Boise Bus group chat don't want to come on me, because they're like, oh, Phil's going to hit me for a quiz if I come on. It's like, yeah, they're definitely afraid. I know that Conor Carr, he's afraid of a quiz, and so is David. David Lowe, he's afraid of a quiz.
Because I said to David one night, I said, why don't me and you challenge the Boyce brothers for a quiz night? You know, father and son against the siblings, like, you know. But David wasn't up for it.
I'll get you on a sudden death one day, David. I'll get you to play one, honestly. But yeah, we'll play a wee game of that. We'll get a wee game of that going just now. So I'll set up all the aesthetics and get into the studio, get into the quiz studio. So, of course, gentlemen, comments off as part of the rules, so you can't see the comments because people will chip in the answers and give you a few hints along the way. Right, music. Let's obviously adjust the volume so it doesn't blow out our eardrums. Here we go. Right. Okay, so the last time we played this, obviously it was Pam against Liam. Obviously, Johnny was playing. So, Johnny, as you're the guest tonight, do you want to go first or second?
What's the rules again?
If you go first, it's exactly what it says on the tin. If you go second, though, you will be entitled to a clue at some point if you need it. But if you take the clue a bit too early and you don't know what it is, that's now out in the open, and Liam could then step in on his next guess and go, I know what that was. So it's a bit of a risky one, but it is there for you.
I'll go second.
Okay, second it is then. Okay. So tonight's question has 15 answers, so a nice decent amount there. And it's a bit of a hybrid, this one. It is connected to Celtic, but it's not totally a Celtic question, but it is connected. So you'll be using Celtic as the sort of the way, the barometer to get your answers. So Celtic grabbed a point in the Champions League this week against Dynamo Zagreb, which leaves them on 9 points after 6 games. They currently sit 21st in the table. That means there are 15 teams below Celtic right now. Do you know who the 15 teams are? So how much attention have you been paying to the Champions League table? There we go. So, Johnny, you're second, Liam first.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Leipzig.
Yeah, Leipzig are definitely, they've had an absolute shocker. So they are indeed a team who are below us. Right, okay. Johnny, over to you.
Man City.
Manchester City are below us right now in the table. Yes, they are. Get up, you City. Okay, Liam.
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid are not a week. See, if I did this 2
last
weeks
week.
ago when I wanted to do this question, they would have been a right answer. But Real Madrid are one position above us right now. So unlucky, Liam, you've hit the post for that one, mate. Unlucky.
Oh.
Johnny.
Young Boys.
Yeah, they are definitely below us. Young Boys of Bern. Liam.
Oh,
Did you say? See, this is the problem with Liam's microphone.
Liam's mic does not like sudden
It does
death.
not like sudden death. No.
no. Zagreb.
Dynamo Zagreb
Zagreb.
are
Yeah.
yes, they are. Yes, they're like a point behind us because they were a point behind us the other night. We got a point out of them, so they have stayed there. Okay, Johnny, over to you.
I think I've got the right team. Was it Slovan Bratislava we beat in the first game? Yeah. Right.
Slovan Bratislava, yes. Yeah, three of the teams at the bottom of the table with 0 points. We've played them in. Well, we've got to still play Young Boys of Bern, but we've beat Leipzig and we've beat Slovan. 3 of the teams on 0 points, so they're on our fixture list. Liam.
Bratislava.
Just said it there. The answer's just been given. Johnny just gave that one. Oh, it's
Right.
That's a miss. So, Johnny, you've got a chance to win it. It's harsh, I know, but
I can't think at all, to be honest with you.
to be fair, it's difficult, this one.
Girona.
Girona is a correct answer. The Spanish team, yeah. One of Man City's networked teams. Yes, they are indeed. They are below us. So, yes, Johnny, you've done it. You've got 4 points and Liam's on 2 with 1 shot left. So, Johnny, you've won. You've won a game of sudden death, mate. You've actually done it. You came on and you've won a game.
Yeah, well, let's hope there's a more important trophy getting passed out on Sunday towards the green side.
The other answers as well, the teams that are currently below us, were PSV Eindhoven, Paris Saint-Germain, yeah, they're below us just now, VfB Stuttgart, Shakhtar Donetsk, Sparta Prague, Sturm Graz, Red Star Belgrade, there's a powerhouse for years ago, RB Salzburg and Bologna from Italy are currently below us in the table.
Girona was the last one I'd have got. I wouldn't have got any of that lot.
Yeah, there was.
I only got Girona because they played Liverpool. That's the only reason I remembered then.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was an interesting one because there's teams like PSG and Man City being in there, most people wouldn't get. But fair enough, Man City, you nailed that one. They're having a shocker. Not that I'm weeping any tears for Man City's plight, to be honest. Quite enjoy seeing them struggle at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we go for the predictions, I also was at the start of the show, I did the guess the player, again, going by their career, so I will bring up the old graphic again. Before I bring it up again, before shouting out the answers, did the two of you know who it was?
I think I do.
Right, okay. Liam Jinkso, you know who it is? Okay, so this is the graphic. He played for Celtic, then Newcastle, then St Mirren, and then Aberdeen. So, Johnny, you think you know who it is? Go for it.
I don't know. I think it's Roy Aitken.
You would be correct. It is Roy Aitken. There's a player right there.
I'd actually forgotten he'd played for St Mirren. I knew he'd played obviously for Newcastle and Aberdeen, but until you said St Mirren, I thought, but now I think about it, I do remember it now. Yeah.
Favourite Roy Aitken memories, guys? These are definitely of the right supporter group, shall we say? A bit before my time, but I have got a favourite moment of Roy Aitken's because there's a goal that he scored against Rangers in '81. He outdoes Sandy Jardine for pace.
Was that a 2-2 game?
No, Celtic won it 3-1.
I think my one is, I think Derek Parlane scored 2 for Rangers, and I think it was Aitken scored 2 for Celtic. And I think, if I remember rightly, Parlane had just scored for Rangers to make it 2. I think it was 2-1. And Celtic almost went straight at the park and scored almost immediately. And all the Rangers scarves were up near that, and Aitken hit one into the back of the net from, I want to say from just on the edge of the penalty box, and all you seen was all these scarves suddenly fucking just disappear, like, you know, as we, and so that kind of sticks in my mind. I'm sure it was a 2 each game, and Aitken scored both for us.
Right.
But and obviously the '88 season, like, you know.
Oh yeah, I know it's a season that's close to your heart. But I say the goal that he scores like this game against Rangers, where he does Sandy Jardine for pace. The two of them are chasing a ball down out wide, and he does him, gets to it first, and then just barrels down on goal. He tries to pass it across the goal, and whoever the number 5 is for Rangers, it bounces off him right back into his path, and he sticks it past the goalkeeper. Then proceeds to celebrate by just running right back in the direction that he came from, and I'm like, he must have been knackered by the end of that, absolutely out of breath. But I was going to go now. A few memories coming in. Usually this one, the Shy in 1989.
Aye,
Monty's one. He's got it there. Yeah, the same one. Yeah,
the Shy. I've got Spill the Glove saying lifting the centenary double as well. Yeah.
Why was it always feed the bear? I never ever got that way.
I think it was because when he first broke into the team, he had this mop of wavy hair. Like the lead of the Hair Bear bunch. I don't know if that's anything to do with it or not, but that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
One of the great Celtic trivia questions was name a Celtic player whose father was Jamaican, and it was Roy Aitken.
Oh, there's a good one came in from Darryl, the 85 final cross. It's him who crosses it for Frank McGarvey, I want to say.
Yeah.
Aye, Roy Aitken with the cross there.
Was that the final with David Proven,
Dundee United.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Aye, it was indeed. Aye. So, Roy Aitken was today's this week's mystery player. I thought I'd go for a smaller career because last week's one, was quite a longer career. Maybe it gave it away too much. But yeah, most people in the chat did get it. Before we go, then we will need to do the predictions. Then, so Liam Wiseman. Give us some knowledge. How's it going to go on Sunday, mate? Greg Taylor going to score a hat trick, mate? Is this it?
Honestly, I hope Greg Taylor has a very quiet game and he's not looking for attention and it doesn't be the focal point and it just passes them by. Like some of them that have done it when we've played. I think this is a game for our captain to show up. If our captain shows up tomorrow, I think 3 or 4-1. And if it is, if we do get that, and we do get that momentum, I'm really hoping James comes on and scores that one goal. Get that goal.
So Jenny McCullough will stop reminding us.
Aye, go. Everybody says it. This is the game. Come on, James. Hampden, spilt for you. Make it happen.
Also, Timmy Bing 6-0. What? I pray it would be something like that. But it'd be unbelievable if it happened. But yeah, Timmy Bing, he's excited. Are you as excited and enthusiastic, Johnny, as Timmy Bing is for the game 6-0?
No.
I
would absolutely love that, Timmy Bing. In fact, if we win 6-0, I'll organise a free flight on British Airways for him somewhere. If we win 6-0, all right.
There we go.
I'm going to go for, I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a 2-1 or a 1-0. I think it's going to be a tight game, to be honest with you. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's Timmy Bing, but we'll settle for 5, so I'm not out of pocket. But no, I can't see it being that. I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1. I'll go for a KG 1-0. It's going to be a stodgy game. I don't think it's going to be one of those. Great for the neutrals, a great advert for Scottish football. I think it'll be a bit of a stinker. I think the weather's not going to lend itself. It's a cup final in December. It doesn't lend money to a good spectacle, really.
The podcast's not too bad, though, isn't it? The weather's, it's not like last weekend, for example.
Yeah, it was sub-zero last weekend, wasn't it? So it wasn't ideal. But yeah, I think it'll be a bit of a stodgy game. Might be a few similar to the cup final in May, where there'll be a spell where they'll be a bit on top of us, but we just need to just make sure they don't get any sort of openings, just stay as watertight as we can. If we are under a bit of pressure, just make sure we don't blow it in any way. Just keep ourselves in the game. And yeah, I think it's one of those ones again, like the one in May. Just all we need is one chance to fall away, and usually we find a way to stick it in the back of the net. So yeah, I'm going to say we will get a scrappy 1-0, but that's all we need. That's all we need. Just one goal, just to win it. Well, I don't want to be seeing, other than the fact that obviously a Rangers victory, but God, do not give us extra time and penalties. Please, God, no. None of that. Carry on, please. So hopefully we just get the job done in the 90 minutes. And yeah, I'll say I'll go for a scrappy 1-0. Stodgy affair, but Celtic get the trophy in the end. And that takes us to trophy 119, if you're keeping count. We know that they are. Right, okay, so we'll head off now, folks. That's been another hour on the Friday feeling. So, yeah, we shall... PMP, providing that Russell's internet connection is all fine and dandy. I mean, I think he's got it back. I mean, last weekend it was completely gubbed. And even on Tuesday when he was on, it was still a bit ropey. So hopefully it's all recovered for then. And him and Terry should be along for a very eventful, I would imagine, PMP after a game against them, a cup final. Hopefully it's a celebrated one. And, you know, Terry's got the optics out. He's got the red label. Oh, aye. He will indeed. So yeah, hopefully there's a lot to celebrate on Sunday. And yeah, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. You'll be notified when the bus is on the road. And yeah, we'll be back on the next one. So thanks everybody for choosing us on a Friday night and watching. There's still about 70 of you watching just now live. So remember, hit the like button on the way out, folks. Hit the like button. And yeah, we shall see you on the next one. And come on, Celtic, just get it done. Get it done, boys. Right, we'll see you the next one.